are continuing to heat up here in Canada. Today, we've got Pierre Poilievre and Jagmeet Singh going toe-to-toe. They have their own press conferences, but they're jousting head-to-head here. Pierre Poilievre directly calls out Jagmeet Singh tearing up the supply and confidence agreement just before the by-elections. He puts out a challenge to him, and Jagmeet has come back swinging. He's pretty spicy. You're going to see a pretty animated Jagmeet here today. So let's jump into this. First up, we got this posted by the Toronto Star. It says, for the first time ever, over 1 million people in Ontario, this is just Ontario, have visited a food bank over the past year. New report finds. Sad state here in Canada. Here we got Pierre Poilievre absolutely calling out Jagmeet on all his crap, and then we'll see the reply here from Jagmeet.
Now, Jagmeet Singh, who supported all these policies, in fact pushed for them to happen, says that Justin Trudeau is radioactive. And right before the by-elections, Singh suddenly had a change of heart, or so he said, publishing a video claiming that he was no longer in the Costly Coalition. Well, let's look at the wording. The Costly Coalition is called a Supply and Confidence Agreement. So if you're pulling out, you have to vote non-confidence. If you don't, you're still in the agreement. No matter what your video stunt would have everyone else believe. So the question that Jagmeet Singh has been asked 31 times in the last week, and he has refused to answer, is whether he will vote non-confidence to trigger a carbon tax election. Now, why is that? Well, let's just inspect the timing here for a second. He did his video 2 days before voting started in those by-elections, trying to trick people into thinking he was no longer part of the coalition. The by-elections will be held on Monday, after which he can just change his mind and go back to voting to keep Trudeau in power. So I have an announcement and a challenge. I'm announcing that common sense Conservatives will put forward a non-confidence motion at the earliest possible opportunity. And I'm asking Jagmeet Singh and the NDP to commit unequivocally before Monday's by-elections. Will they vote non-confidence to bring down the Costly Coalition and trigger a carbon tax election? Or will Jagmeet Singh sell out Canadians again? Which will it be? It's put up or shut up time for the NDP.
Yeah, obviously Jagmeet's going to sell out because that's what sellout saying. That's all he knows. Pierre Poilievre doing a great job here again. He knows how to push Jagmeet's buttons. He knows how to make these guys look like fools. Next up, we got Jagmeet. He is being poopy pants in the hallway. I don't know what building this is. It just looks embarrassing. Why is he in this hallway? We don't know. I've got 3 clips from him, and he's complaining about Pierre Poilievre in all of them.
SELLOUT sing. We heard from Minister Harjit Sajjan earlier today in the 9
The audio is really quiet, but he's mentioned Poilievre keeps calling him Sellout Singh, and Minister Sajjan.
That he said that is a very, very racist term as a Sikh man.
So Minister Sajjan said that's a very R-word term.
He sees it as that way. How do you see it?
He's asking him how does he see it if he sees it as an R-word term.
I think what Pierre Poilievre is doing, and the Conservatives have done for a long time, they like to insult. They like to make things about petty insults and make things about attacking people personally. You see, what I do is I attack what he's going to do to Canadians. I'm concerned that Pierre Poilievre's vision of Canada is to tear down our healthcare system. And so I attack him on the policy that he's going to hurt Canadians by tearing down our healthcare system, and so you're going to have to pay out of pocket to get the care you need. I think that is horrible. I think that's bad. But I attack him on his policies, on his bad decisions, on his track record. He likes to insult people and call people names. I think that shows you what type of person he is. And that's going to be an important part of the decision Canadians make in the next election. Do you want someone who pays petty insults and insults people personally, or someone who's actually going to fight for you to make sure you have a good healthcare system? That's a part of the choice Canadians have in the next election.
No, we're going to have to decide if we have Sellout Singh here, which is not an R-word term at all. That's just ridiculous. because he's a sellout. He sold his soul for his pension, and he's still going to do it here, even though he's ripped up his agreement. Nothing's changing here. It's ridiculous for that Liberal minister to even suggest that that's a race car term. We're going to call it race car term from now on. Sellout Singh, sellouts. Comments. Tell me what isn't a race car to Jagmeet Singh. The sky, maybe the sun. Jagmeet may not like his nickname, but he's earned it. Oh, there, that's well said, Karen. What the heck is Sellout Singh talking about? This is the comments, they're just savage. So we've got another clip here. I'll just let Jagmeet speak. He goes on a full rant.
What's your response to Pierre Poilievre? What's your response to what he said today, specifically that the NDP should put up or shut up?
I say directly to Pierre Poilievre, I'm not going to listen to you, someone who wants to destroy our healthcare system, who wants to hurt seniors by cutting their pensions, someone who wants to attack workers, someone who wants to strip away dental care from seniors. What kind of person wants to strip away dental care when seniors have just gotten it, when kids are receiving it? Who wants to take that away from them? I'm never going to listen to someone like that. So no, I'm not going to listen to your advice. You want to destroy people's lives. I want to build up a brighter future. I want to build a better future for Canadians.
Yeah, right, man. He's not building nothing. Supporting a corrupt government is more likely to destroy people's lives. Jagmeet is a complete fraud. Now, on the flip side here, we've got Pierre Poilievre. It says in Brampton, they found 26 international students living in one basement. One basement. That's not even the whole house.
It was under Sean Fraser, who just opened the floodgates and brought in so many people that now, by the admission of Trudeau, Miller, and the entire Liberal government, it's out of control and it's hurting our housing market. In Brampton, they found 26 international students living in one basement, in one house. Kids are being sold into sex slavery and are being sent back to India in body bags. This is turning into a massive humanitarian crisis.
After it's all said and done with Justin Trudeau, the humanitarian crisis, as Pierre Poilievre is pointing out here, is one of the lasting legacies of Justin Trudeau. Whether that's from Canadians or people from India and other countries that are living in 26 people in one basement, Trudeau, Sean Fraser, and Mark Miller all knew what they were doing when they did this stuff, and they did it intentionally. And they're going to have to sleep with that every night if they've got a soul. We got this one here. It says experts estimate up to 130,000 international students post-graduation work permits expiring in 2024-2025. Most are expected not to receive extensions or permanent residency due to new immigration laws. Yeah, expect some more protesting in the streets. That's what's going on now. Watch asylum claims skyrocket. Yeah, no kidding. That's probably what's going to happen. Here it says Trudeau Cabinet Minister Stephen Guilbeault and Jean-Yves Duclos slammed Pierre Poilievre for lacking a climate plan while defending the carbon tax.
We're doing so well in the polls. You say, oh, well, he doesn't have a plan to fight climate change. Canadians, opinion polls suggest, are pretty supportive of it.
So they're asking, how do you justify your acts? Pierre Poilievre is doing well in the polls. You're saying he doesn't have a plan for climate change.
I think clearly we need to do a better job of explaining some of the things we've been doing. Carbon pricing certainly being one of them. We've seen certainly in the last few months that there's a shift on the issue of carbon pricing in Canada. I think we need to continue explaining why we're doing this to Canadians, why we need to fight climate change, why we're putting in place these measures that we are putting in place. But you know, it is more complex to explain that than to say you should just not do this. You should not do this, not do that, without offering anything. It's the total absence, as Jean-Yves was saying. It's the absence of vision. It's the absence of plan. He has no measure to offer when it comes to fighting climate change, adapting to the impacts of climate change. He would rip apart the first ever national adaptation strategy, which will help save lives in Canada, which has already started to help save lives, which will save Canadians billions of dollars. If we don't do that, Canadian taxpayers are on the hook for, according to various estimates, between $25 and $35 billion of climate change impacts per year. We're all paying for this. No one will get a bill home saying this is your climate change impacts bill for the year, but we will all be paying for that. And unfortunately, Mr. Poilievre has nothing to say about that.
We got one of Trudeau's ministers here saying that Pierre wants an election because Canadians will learn to love the carbon tax in a year from now. You can't make this stuff up.
It's a great question that you ask about carbon pricing. Now, the one reason for which Pierre Poilievre might want to have an election very soon on ACT.
It's because I want to suck your blood. This guy, all I see is Dracula every time he talks.
The tax and carbon pricing is that he's starting to feel the change in Canadians' understanding of the great value of that carbon pricing. Now, we have changed the name now to make it better understood that there's a carbon rebate that comes with carbon pricing.
Oh, that's right. It was the naming of it. We were all just bumbling idiots. And once you guys renamed it, our small minds could finally understand what you're saying. We want to suck your blood. We're going to rename your carbon tax to a carbon rebate. You will like it.
Now, if you look at the numbers, you note that Canadians understand much better now in September 2024 that 8 out of 10 of Canadians receive more in their pockets than they pay through the carbon price. Now, that's not good news for Pierre Poilievre, now, who has never acknowledged that with carbon pricing also comes a carbon rebate, which makes life more affordable for 8 families out of 10.
Are they still peddling those lies? 8 out of 10 where the jurisdiction applies, where this, where that, where this, while we've doctored the numbers, etc., etc.
I'm an economist, and it's very rare that an economic policy achieves the goal of, say, reducing pollution and putting more money in the pockets of the majority of middle class and lower income Canadians. Now, he knows that, and he fears that. Canadians are starting to understand that it's good for affordability, it's also good for reducing pollution, and it's also great, as Mark Carney was saying, and as loads of business leaders are telling, it's also great for prosperity, economic growth, creation of good middle-class jobs across Canada.
These buffoons just think we're stupid. You got Dracula and his sidekick here. Come on, guys. Are you feeling the value of high taxes? 400,000 hungry kids in schools and millions using food banks aren't. But please keep up the liberal messaging. It's working. Yeah, no kidding. This is like, these guys got to go. Why are these officials talking like they're talking to kindergarten kids? Like, so immediately the first post here is, this seems like a plan to me.
Coal-fired plants, ship it to Europe to replace Putin's dirty gas and turn dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people.
These are inspired people. The Liberals inspired no one. They've inspired poverty. That's all they've inspired. The beginning of this here basically talks about improved nuclear and liquefied natural gas. These are all things Trudeau should have done, and it's costing us billions. 2 of the stupidest ministers Ottawa has ever seen. Of course they will defend robbing its citizens. Let's see what their net worth was in 2015 and what it is today. I dare any so-called journalist to find this out. I actually, if I could ask just one question and get an honest answer, I would love to know how many acres of land, how many houses, what is Justin Trudeau's real estate development company, what's the portfolio in there? That's what I want to know, because that tells you all the answers about the immigration. There's no climate plan. There's only stealing money for climate lie. Look at these 2 losers like watching 2 glasses of water with 3 drops of milk in each. Yuck. Here's another member of the clown circus here. We've got Mark Miller. He says that a Pakistani national who plotted a T-word attack in New York was allowed entry into Canada June 2023, and that Pierre Poilievre should shut his mouth. I'd expect this from no one else but Mark Miller or Mark Gerritsen. These are the 2 spicy hotheads on the Liberal team.
I've been getting questions about an individual that entered Canada and has been arrested in charges related to an attempt to cross the border for a terrorist plot. I can confirm that Mohammed Khan is a Pakistani national who entered Canada on May, or was issued a visa in May of 2023, and was given and entered Canada on the 24th of June of the same year, so 2023. This is all that I'll be commenting on this individual. Obviously, there are criminal charges pending as politicians, as elected officials, in order to make sure the judicial process is not compromised, although we share the goals of the prosecutors in question. It's very important that we don't comment, and actually it's dangerous to comment any further. Any defense lawyer is looking at elected officials and their comments about this case salivating at any comment that is made that could be seen as compromising the judicial process. This is something that any responsible politician needs to be aware of. It's highly careless of Pierre Poilievre and his team to be firing their mouths off again. Any defense attorney is looking at that and just chomping at the bit to be able to make that part of their process and perhaps even compromise the case. Mr. Poilievre has experienced prosecutors on his team. They should be counseling him to shut his mouth like any responsible politician in this case.
So going back just to this section here where he says it's highly careless.
It's highly careless of Pierre Poilievre.
It's highly careless to bring in a pterodactyl into our country, let alone hundreds of them that are stealing cars and doing all sorts of stuff in our country now. So to blame Pierre Poilievre for anything is ridiculous. These guys can't take responsibility for anything they have done. They're the biggest poopy pants losers in the country. Perhaps Mark Miller should shut his mouth for being instrumental in the rampant poverty and suffering that is cascaded across Canada. It's almost like he's going to start crying because his feelings are hurt. What a lightweight, honestly. Can we get some grown-ups around this country? Here we've got Captain Schmuck at the caucus meeting. He finally decided to climb out of bed and speak.
You were asked at the beginning about Alexandra Mendez's comments, and you sort of responded with some of the things we've heard from you, things like slogans like confident Canadians invest themselves. I'm not sure people really understand what that means. How do you convince people in sort of everyday language that you can actually win this election, given what people are hearing at the door, given what people are hearing from constituents, given what the polling shows? How do you actually keep them on board?
Just to recap, Alexandra Mendez, one of Trudeau's ministers, said that her constituents came by a booth for 3 full days and told her they want Trudeau to step down. And so she made those comments. Claire, she's also very flowery about it and said that she thought maybe it's just leader fatigue and he's doing a good job. So she's trying to save her position. I don't know, save her butt, I'm not sure.
Thank you, Marika, for asking me what it means to say that confident countries invest in themselves. Because that's the choice that we have made, and we've made it consistently since 2015, and it's more important now than it's ever been. Canada has one of the strongest balance sheets in the world, the lowest deficit, the lowest debt to GDP ratio amongst G7 nations, the highest per capita foreign investment in the G20. Companies around the world are investing their futures in Canada. We were the 3rd largest country in the world for foreign direct investment just last year after the US and Brazil. People around the world are investing in Canada because they believe in Canadians, they believe in Canadian workers, they believe in the future we're building here. This government is doing the same thing. We are investing in the future of Canada by making sure kids have room in daycare so that their parents can get the jobs and careers that they want and that our economy needs them to do. We're investing in the kinds of resource economy that leads into the knowledge economy, whether it's leading the world on electric vehicle supply chains or drawing in global investment in strong jobs of the future. We are stepping up and investing in our future.
Are you investing in the 1 out of 4 people in poverty now? That's what we're going to be leading the world in here, Trudeau. This guy, Captain Schmuck here, he knows what he's doing. He knows all the actions he's taken. He knows jacking the immigration would greatly increase real estate values, and that would thus in turn prop up his real estate development company's value. How much is it worth? I don't know. How many acres does he have? How many buildings? How many towers does he build? Is it just land? How many millions has that made him? Everything he does is for his own benefit, not for any of our benefit.
We believe in Canadians. The world believes in Canadians. You know who doesn't believe in Canadians? Pierre Poilievre. Because his answer to what do you do with the strongest economy in the world, strongest fiscal balance sheet in the world right now is you cut. You cut programs that Canadians need. You cut the school food programs. It's going to save families.
Poilievre calls me on my crap and I filled my diaper. Mommy, get me a new one.
$800 on grocery bills. You cut the spots in childcare that are allowing women to get back into the workforce and build those careers they need. You cut the programs that are delivering for Canadians right when they need it. We have the strongest macro balance sheet in the G7. We believe in putting that in service of Canadians by investing in them And the answer the Conservatives are bringing forward is, oh no, we'll create growth and opportunities through cutting programs Canadians are relying on. That's the choice that people get to make in these upcoming by-elections. That's the choice people are going to make next year. And I can't wait to continue getting into it this fall.
Yeah, right. Poilievre is going to demolish you and Jagmeet Trudeau and Blanchette, just to demolish them all. These guys are all traitors to our country. A bunch of greedy thieves that only care about themselves.
With Poilievre, whose perspective is cuts are the only way forward, because I know that confident countries invest in their future, invest in their workers, invest in their people, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Is that like Mark Carney investing in the UAE and Brazil pipelines there with the Brookfield Asset Management, but not investing in pipelines in Canada? Is that what we're talking about, Trudeau? This guy, it's too easy to call him on his crap, but he's just a liar. Trudeau is so full of crap, he could open a diaper factory and keep his own business in business by himself. So many Liberals involved in scandals, billions of dollars lost. I mean, if we click on this, it's like new poll analysis finds Pierre Poilievre supermajority. Like, look at the face down here. Canada needs to speak louder. He's still not getting it. Maybe we do need to speak a little bit louder. With that, we got Brian Lilly posting this. It says, wow, Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston isn't too crazy about Nova Scotia Liberal MP Jamie Batiste calling Nova Scotians EI folks.
Before we start, I just want to say how disappointing it was to see Jaime's comments on us EI folks down here in Nova Scotia. And,
I don't get that, that sense that we're in trouble in the Atlantic. I think that the Atlantic has typically been a progressive spot. It's not. It's one of those places that are kind of meat and potato fisheries, EI kind of folks that tell us how they think we're doing, and from all indications that I've had, they don't reflect what the polls show.
He made a comment on national media last night about the culture in Nova Scotia, and he referred to EI folks down here in Nova Scotia as being still supporters of Justin Trudeau. But just a
he laughed there when he said that.
Characterization of Nova Scotians as EI folks is obviously not acceptable, not representative, and you should apologize for that.
That really is a bonehead comment to say. What else would you expect from a Trudeau Liberal? Jumping over to my group here, let's see what memes we've got today. Mark Carney's a mainstay at WF's Davos retreats. I've bumped into him when I've been reporting on the Davos elites as a journalist. Last year, he was on my flight home from Zurich to Toronto. He was in business class. His wife was in economy. Take from that what you will. Posted by Andrew Lawton here, so that of True North. So I don't think Andrew would be lying unless this is a Photoshop tweet. New business opportunity. This is funny. So this guy's installing a bollard. Those are little pillars that pop up when you park your car in your driveway. Then you can bring those up. I'm surprised they don't have a radio frequency to lower those things. I'm sure they'll figure it out at some point. If you're looking for a business opportunity in Toronto, installing bollards might be for you. I need someone to explain to me why it's always, if you can't pay the rent, buy fewer lattes and avocado toast, and not if you can't pay your employees a living wage, buy fewer yachts, rockets, and spacecrafts. Explain it to me like I'm in kindergarten. How to actually fix the system. This is well done. You got all the major players here. Carney is Trudeau's new advisor with lots of conflicts. In addition to his business work, Carney is the United Nations Special Envoy on Climate Action and Finance. He's also a board member of the WF, a position he held since 2010. Will Carney represent the interests of Canada, Brookfield, Stripe, the UN, or the WF? Yeah, and who knows? He's going to represent anything that benefits him. These guys are all the same. It says up here, last year, Mark Carney was awarded just shy of $1 million USD in deferred shares by Brookfield. Vancouver is still the most expensive place to rent in Canada despite dropping rates. Yeah, it will be like that. Pretty much forever. Affordable housing in Canada. Yeah, no kidding. This is the Liberals' plan for housing. Trudeau prepares to visit with the homeless. This is so bad. Police officer, show me where the nasty man hurt you. Right there in the gas hole. Another day, more stupid things coming out of Liberals' mouths at the caucus meeting, most notably from Jean-Yves and Guilbeault there. And Jagmeet too, he's really starting to put the foot on the gas here. He's getting pretty aggressive in his statements. I think this is his plan going forward, to just keep like ferociously attacking Pierre Poilievre and cutting him down, despite saying that's what Pierre does to him. Things are going to be interesting though. What do you think happens next week when they get back in the House and Pierre Poilievre takes off the gloves with these guys?